Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hi, my name is Teresa. It has been a week, so we have a new week's worth of new makeup releases to talk about. I am by myself this week, however, next week on the 16th of December, we are doing another live releases and rants at noon Irish time. So mark it on your calendars, my fabulous friends. For my YouTube members at 11 AM, so an hour before the live, I will just be chatting, getting ready, trying to make myself look somewhat presentable, which is unusual for me. But yeah, that's what that is. So for my YouTube members, keep it in your diaries. Next week at 11 AM, we're going to have a live, and then it is followed by a releases and rants live straight after. But I have to say a massive thank you to everyone who tagged me in content this week. I so appreciate it. Without you guys, there would be no episode. So I'm going to display your names now. It is so appreciated. Let's just jump straight into it. It is another week, so that means there is a whole new Glamlite release. And I talked about this last week in the sense that I had seen some sneak peeks, but I wasn't entirely sure what it was going to look like. But it was revealed and launched pretty darn quickly. This is the Glamlite and Garfield collaboration. I gotta say, for a makeup brand, I would have expected an awful lot more makeup products. But actually, if you look at all of the things that have actually been released, there's 8 kind of items all together. There's like 4 of them are not makeup related at all. There's a mirror, there's a makeup bag, a makeup sponge, and a sleeping mask, and the rest are things like eyeshadow palette, lip care duo, lashes, and of course the face palette. Now of course in sheer Glamlite style they're extremely affordable. There's nothing like that's going to break your budget here, so I'm not annoyed about that. I'm going to start off first talking about maybe the full collection. If you want to get it with the PR box, it's €131.95, but if you're thinking to yourself, hey, I don't want that box, you actually can save yourself about €13 and get it for €118.95. I don't know how they're justifying 13 extra euro for a box, but there you go. The eyeshadow palette is retailing for €23.95, and I'll be honest, I would have expected a lot more yellows and oranges. Like, it's very cranberry heavy, like, or maybe I'm just focusing so much on those tones. They're really, really obvious. And then there's the random kind of a blue in there, which I get that's like from the cartoons themselves. For me, I feel like this is too mid-tone. There's not enough like light shades in there to really make a full look, and some of those shades look way too similar to each other. You know, some of those shimmers, there's 2 shimmers there that look pretty much identical. There's 2 mattes that look not identical, but they're very, very close to each other. It feels very strange that for a 12 pan eyeshadow palette that it is not as edited as it could be. Again, €23.95, not too bad. It has a little mirror in it, it has the really cute little Garfield, but I gotta say it's not for me, and I was kind of surprised because I thought this was gonna be for me, because I mean, I like Glamlite's formula, and I mean, I frigging love Garfield, I love cats, so I'm kind of surprised that this didn't get to me. I will say that when I'm looking at the For the Love of Lasagna face palette, it's almost exactly what I thought it was going to be. This is retailing for €17.95, so I thought it was going to have a red, yellow, and orange blush in it, but it actually just has a red and an orange blush and a highlighter in there. I feel like they should have done a yellow blush. I don't think they needed another highlighter because they went very highlighter heavy in the horror sort of collection. All that being said, I think it's really quite cute, and I mean, it's just under €18, so you're getting quite a bit for that. If I had to pick anything from this collection, it would probably be that. I actually think that's very, very cute. Then they have the I Do Not Care, by the way, so hard to say, I Do Not Care lip care duo, and that's retailing for €11.95, so there's like a scrub and a balm, and it's donut scented. I mean, fine, that's grand. It's not like super, super expensive. I will say this is almost leaning a little bit too Makeup Revolution now for me, and I think it's because they're doing so much with it and doing a lot of accessories, and it feels like there's like so many collabs coming out. I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. So this is heading like very color pop Makeup Revolution for me. So yeah, this isn't for me. They then have their mirror for €20.95, which I think is actually super, super cute. I feel like it's a little bit more expensive than the ones that came in their horror collection. All that being said, I do think it's really, really cute. And then the makeup bag is €17.95, and this is where I'm kind of like looking at this and thinking, Glamlite aren't really a makeup brand anymore. They're very much like an accessories brand, because when half of your collection is very much around accessories and not so much around actual makeup. It's very strange because, like I said, like the makeup that we actually have, like the eyeshadow palette, the face palette, and I'm kind of reluctant to say the lip care duo, but I'll put it in there, and the Arlene lashes. It's just very strange. We have quite a few like non-makeup items. I do think though the bag is adorable. As I said though, we have the makeup sponge that's €7.95. There's the sleeping mask, which, oh my god, how frigging cute is that? That is retailing for €14.95. I wonder what that's like what's the material that's going onto the eyes. I would kind of hope it's somewhat silky because that's going to be quite good for the skin around the eyes. And then there's the Arlene lashes, which are retailing for €9.95. Now this is already on sale. I will say I was kind of annoyed that when I was looking at the Arlene lashes, they only had a picture of them in the box and that's all I could find. So it's kind of difficult to tell exactly what they look like, but I mean, they're pretty standard lashes. They're quite dramatic, quite bold. It does make sense. It looks a bit like Arlene's lashes. I don't know. I was so excited about seeing this and I was kind of like all for it. And then I saw it and I was like just horribly unimpressed. It just feels like a lot of stuff that was totally unnecessary. Like if they wanted to do like super heavy on like all of the accessories, they didn't need to do that eyeshadow palette. They could have gotten rid of it. They could have just done like the little blush highlighty thing and that would have been totally fine. I'm kind of getting a bit miffed with Glamlite. There's just too much stuff. I am so overwhelmed, and I'm not saying that I think that the quality is bad. I actually really like their quality. But the fact that the owner has said that she's acquired the IP of another 25 things, and I'm hoping that's maybe over the next 2 years, 3 years, ideally, even then, that's a lot. That would be like 8 collabs within a year. But to me, it seems like absolute overkill, and thankfully the use of the word overkill is not a pun there because we're no longer talking about the horror collections. I don't know how they financially do it because she's talked about like how much the IPs cost. That the most expensive one she's paid for is $350,000, and it's not like these are like super expensive to sell on. Like the most expensive thing that she had as part of this was the eyeshadow palette for €23.95. So I don't know how she's managing that in terms of like the margin of cost and the margin of profit and all of these things. Like it's really, I don't get it. I don't get it. This surprisingly is not for me. I thought it would be because I like Glamlite, I like cats, but I didn't end up getting it. And I feel like Glamlite are going far too much into the fast beauty thing, and they're doing what Colourpop has done. And Colourpop were like really popular at one point. I mean, they're still quite popular, but they really faded out of favor with the beauty community because they were doing too much. And I feel like Glamlite are heading that way, and they need to just chill out. They've good quality, let that speak for itself. I will say there's stuff that I want to get from them that is just continually out of stock. I want to get that Scooby-Doo highlighter duo, but that's never in stock. I'm down on the wait list, and yeah, it's just not happening. So I actually didn't get any of this, which slightly shocked me, but actually quite good that I didn't. When I put it to you guys, I think a lot of us are feeling the exact same thing. The palette got a 17% love it, 10% said that it needed some more light shades. The highlighter blush palette did quite well. 33% said that you loved it. 18% said that it needs to have a yellow blush. Thank you, I agree. The lip care duo didn't do great. 13% of you loved it, while 38% said at least it's not lasagna scented, which I think we can all agree that we're quite happy about. This is why I'm saying I feel like this should have just been an accessories thing, because the accessory stuff did really well. 39% loved the mirror, 21% loved the makeup bag, 23% loved the sponges, 14% loved the sleeping eye mask. The lashes did not do well at all. Only 3% of you guys loved it. So I really do feel like they're kind of going out of favor. Then the next thing that we have is an indie brand. It's Micka Beauty Shop. I believe they are are French. I could be wrong, who knows, maybe they're Belgian. I am constantly mixing up my countries, but they are a European indie brand. I have one thing from them, it's the Serpentine palette, and it was a collaboration with Martha's Makeup, but they were kind of drip feeding that they were coming out with this, and it's their Earth Wizards palette, and it's retailing for €55, and it's going to launch on December 15th at 6 p.m. CET, and it is a pre-order. Now they have said to be very careful because the pre-order, it's about a month to a month and 2 weeks before you'll actually get the product, so don't be expecting that you'll get it any sooner than that. Okay, the palette itself, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of those mattes can't really be used together. Like obviously you could use like the black and the blue and the purple etc together, but like a lot of those shades they're not repeating each other because there's like tonal differences in them, but because they're along the same like dimension of depth, it feels a little bit repetitive to me, but also not repetitive at the same time. So it's a little bit strange to me. The cover obviously looks super cute. The shimmers look nice. They've also provided a video of the swatches because there's some multi-chromes and some duochromes in there. If I remember correctly, it's like 4 duochromes and 1 multi-chrome. I could be wrong. Anyways, who cares about what I'm saying? Like, I like to give the benefit of the doubt to an indie brand. You know, they generally have my heart, but I'm looking at this and I don't get it. And obviously things do not have to be for me. I do not have to love it for it to get the pass, but it just feels a little bit disjointed. Like I can't really figure out what I would be doing with it. Those shades are just kind of too similar but also not similar enough. It's such a strange critique to actually give. I will say what I have from Micka Beauty, I really enjoy the quality. I think the quality is 100% there, absolutely there. So if you like this, you know, if you like the colors, I feel like you probably will enjoy the formula. Again, like I said, I'm going to show you the video of the swatches, and I think they do look quite nice. It is a lot of money, like €55, and it is quite matte heavy. Let's be real, it's 2/3 mattes, which I actually think is a decent amount of mattes. I prefer a half and half, but hey, as long as you have enough mattes to like build a look, that's not bad. I think the shimmers look quite nice, but I'm kind of like looking at the shimmers and trying to figure out how they would necessarily join in there with the shades. Like, why is there like no green multichrome? Why is there like no blue one? It's a bit, I just don't get it, and that's fine. I don't have to get things, you know. It's not for me, which I'm very happy about, because let's be real, I buy too much stuff anyways. I can totally do with not getting things, but I just thought it was a little bit disjointed for me. I didn't 100% get it. Anyways, when I put it to you guys, a lot of you guys were in the same boat. 29% of you said that you loved it, 32% said not for me, and 39% said that there was too much repetition. Then we have NYX Cosmetics, and what they have done is they have their Line Loud Vegan Longwear lip liner range, and they had quite a few shades in this, but what they've done is they've extended it. So there's 7 new shades of this sort of like brownie nude liner, and it goes from quite light to quite deep. Now they're only $8 each, which is kind of fantastic. They are sharpenable, so if you know me, I absolutely love it. When I'm looking at these, I love that there's like some really light shades, and then there's some very deep shades in there as well. Do I think that they necessarily needed all 7? Not really. Like, I can see it slightly duping itself at certain points, but I also think it's going to look different on different skin tones as well, as they have shown through some really helpful pictures here. Like, it's not the most flattering of lip liner pictures, but I think it's actually giving you really good context for what they're actually going to look like on the lip. Like, some of them are more true nude browns, and some of them are more like red toned, pinky pinky toned browns. I gotta say, I think it's quite nice, and I do appreciate the fact that they're actually showing you the lip liners on the lips without any additional product. Can I just say, these people have fabulous lips. I am in absolute envy of them. I think when I'm looking at these, I do like the very, very deep dark one, and then the very, very light one, and then the second to lightest one. Those are kind of the shades that I'm going for. I feel like this is bang on trend. This makes so much sense because the whole 90s lip liner thing is just coming back full force. We see this all the time with makeup and fashion, that everything is like in a cycle, and you know, what was popular in the 70s is coming back, the 80s, the 90s, whatever. And the 90s lip of like that strong bold lip liner and a nude lip, that is 1,000,000% coming back. I am not unhappy about that. I think these are really, really nice, and for $8, I mean, I'm kind of here for. I will also say I have quite a few NYX lip liners, and I do really enjoy them. I think they're very, very good. And I do have a lip liner that I enjoy that is from Lime Crime that I'm trying to essentially find a dupe for because they stupidly discontinued. So I'm hoping that at some point NYX will find me an exact shade for that so that I can replace it. But I am here for $8. I think that is absolutely fantastic. The fact that it's sharpenable is brilliant for both just a general makeup user and also for an MUA, because obviously that makes things a lot more hygienic when you can actually sharpen them. So I think that is fabulous. Yeah, I love these 100% when they come to Boots, or I believe it's a Beauty Bay sells them as well. Anyways, I'll have affiliate links down below because, as per usual, I'm disgusting and I could potentially get a commission out of it. So hey, it'll be down below. But when it does come, I think I would definitely pick up at least the lightest and the deepest shade, and maybe the second to lightest shade, because I actually think they are very, very pretty. And don't get me wrong, I will always love a red lip, but I am very much enjoying nude lips these days. When I put it to you guys, it actually did pretty darn well. 45% of you really appreciated the fact that they extended their shade range, which I gotta agree with. I think that was so smart. And 28% of you loved it. So all in all, pretty darn good. Then we have Singe Beauty. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, it's because Singe Beauty is a brand that is owned by Angelica Nickfist, who is a YouTuber over here on this platform. She's known very, very well for all of her indie makeup insights. She does her own like new makeup releases video. Anyways, she came out with her own brand several months ago. I feel like it was about a year ago. And what I appreciate about this brand is A, it's brushes. I feel like brushes are just always a handy thing to have. I don't think I've ever gotten to a point where I'm like, ah, no, I'm okay, don't need more brushes. I mean, I'll verbally say that, but I will also like mentally be like, yeah, more brushes. I think it was very smart for her to come out with brushes rather than makeup to start off this brand. I assume that at some point she'll kind of extend beyond that. I think she's smart starting off with the brushes. I will also say I think she's been very smart in making sure that she's not doing a million sort of launches, because it has been, I feel like, the guts of a year since she announced Singe first and she came out with her first 5 eye brushes. They came out with an awful lot of applause. I've heard such good things about them. People have said that they prefer these to their refer brushes. So I am so excited to see that A, she's doing a restock of the original brushes, but she's also bringing these to us. So there are 7 face brushes. Count them, 7, Teresa, 7, because I really stupidly in my polls put down 5. I think I was thinking of the 5 original brushes. I don't know. Who knows the way that my brain works. They're available now, by the way, as you're watching, but as I'm filming, no, they're not available. So I don't know the prices of them yet. What I love is that yes, you can get them in a bundle, but she has said that she can also get them individually. There's definitely shapes as part of those face brushes that I am looking at. Like that little one down at the bottom, it is the FO2. That is really interesting to me. I haven't really seen a shape like that before. I think that could be interesting for putting on concealer, but I also think that could be really interesting in diffusing some blush. There's some fabulous angled sort of brushes as well. You can tell this is from somebody who like really enjoys makeup. She's thinking about the angles there. Really, really nice. She's also extending the eye brush set, so she's another 2 ones in there. So one is a really nice sort of a blender brush. It's a little bit bigger. I personally like a blending brush like that, particularly for the outer corner of my eye. So I quite like that, but there's also a really nice sort of a packing brush in there as well. That's the E07. That would be fabulous for like a cut crease and really packing on any sort of pigment to the lid. I feel like she's done this very, very well. Of course, she's also come out with a makeup sponge and a velour powder puff, which honest to God makes so much sense. Let's be real, everyone and their mother is doing that. Everyone saw how well Trigwell was being perceived with that, so they have kind of like hopped onto the bandwagon. So I'm glad to see her do that. I think that was a really smart addition. Now again, as I said, I don't know how much these cost, but given the fact that I've heard basically nothing but good reviews on this, I'm super interested. As I said before, I do not need more brushes. I have about 13 pots of brushes in front of me. It is ridiculous, but I could definitely be convinced to get these at some point. And she did say there will be a restock as well, so like don't worry, if you don't get them this time, you'll get them another time. I think this is great, and as I said, I like that there's very like deliberate planning. There isn't like a constant like, here, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. There isn't like a million different launches, so that makes me feel like there's a lot more deliberate thought and planning going into these rather than bleh, here you go, here's something that's drop shipped. So I really appreciate it. I think this is done very, very well. When I put it to you guys, the face brushes did quite well. 25% of you loved it. 36% said that you loved that they're available separately. When I showed you the eye brushes, 27% loved it. 31% said that it depends on the price when I showed you the sponge and the velour puff. 18% of you loved it, and 26% said that it depends on the price. So all in all, it did quite well. Then we have Milani Cosmetics. If you don't know who Milani are, where on earth have you been? And this is a new product that is available now. It's their Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. It comes in 4 shades, which I don't love that it's only 4 shades. However, I will say it goes to a decent level of depth. So I'm actually, I'm okay with that. Like I'll take it. They're retailing for €18.95. Apparently it's very buildable. So they've said like there's no overdoing it. And I'm like, oh, Milani, you have not met me, because I am not very good with my base makeup. I'm definitely improving, but I do have a tendency to look sometimes like I've lost a bet, but it is what it is. It's, by the way, infused with a skin-loving blend of nourishing oils, vitamin E, and micro-sized spherical powders to help blur imperfections. Now, I would be super interested to see how this is going to mesh with the Danessa Merrick's Blur Balm, because obviously that has a very similar sort of claim to it. So I'd like to see if maybe the ingredients are similar. Are they going to mesh well together? Anything that I have from Milani in terms of complexion products tend to be really darn good. You know, for their price point, they are fantastic. Like, I have nothing negative to say about them. I am for sure intrigued by this. Obviously, they're the shade 110. It's Hey Honey would probably suit me the best. So the ghosts are indeed catered for here, and they have shown them on lots of different skin tones, so we're getting a little bit of an idea. Now, personally, I would love to see them extend this a little bit further. I'll also say the swatches slightly confuse me because they look quite different across the different skin tones. Like when I'm looking at 130 Spicy Season, it looks so different on the arm on the left hand side versus the second from right. And I don't know if that's maybe to do with undertones, but it's quite a difference to actually see. But I think maybe 1 or 2 additional shades in there would have been super helpful. But I think I do appreciate the fact that they do have a dark shade in there, and they have said that it is buildable, so actually maybe the formula alone doesn't necessitate further things. So, you know, I'm kind of like, my jury is out on that, because I actually think it could work. It could work. I don't know. I am for sure interested in this. If I'm 100% honest, like when I'm looking at my makeup collection, probably the drawer that has the least in it is like my bronzer and contour, because for whatever reason I just don't gravitate or care about it as much. But you know what, like Milani does a damn good formula, and they're a really good price. So I feel like when these come to Boots, which they will inevitably, and if they're like under €20, if they haven't like increased the price to a crazy level, I would definitely consider getting this. I'd love to see how it wears. I really enjoy cream products. I feel like they're just super, super flattering. Like they just are. Because at the moment I have quite a bit of texture in places. I mean, most of my texture actually isn't in areas where bronzer would go anyway, but I like a cream product. I just think they're super, super flattering. I am excited about this. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen Milani do a complexion product, so I'm just kind of glad to see this coming out, and I'm kind of here for it. And what a time to come out with it in the winter when we're all pale as ghosts. Like, thank you, Milani, for recognizing that we probably need to inject a little bit of color, a little bit of warmth into our lives beyond just the fire. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think this is really, really great. They have all of these extra claims of like there being vitamin E, all this sort of stuff. Hey, you know, it looks decent on the models. It's a good price point. I'm kind of here for it. When I put it to you guys, 23% of you loved it, 30% said not for me, and 48% said that it needed some more shades. So the next thing we have up is Bella Beautê bar, and they have announced a new palette. It's called Angles of Illumination, and it's coming out December 15th at 12 p.m. EST. It's going to retail for $69. It's expensive. So there's 15 unique duochrome shimmer shades and one multi-chrome, and it's apparently a fully magnetic removable pan palette. Now, what kind of frustrates me about this is I've looked all over their Instagram and I cannot find any videos of this other than like them kind of showing the palette, but there's no videos of swatches, so I can't really tell what these look like. Obviously in the pan there's a few that look similar to each other, but that doesn't really mean anything. Like, multi-chromes and duochromes will look like each other in the pan, but they'll look very, very different when swatched. So I mean, I know they still have like a full week before they're actually like launching it, but it would be good to get more of an indication of what they actually look like. I do feel like $69 isn't the absolute worst price for a 16 pan multi-chrome duochrome palette. I think they're smart to kind of do a full palette of that rather than kind of like having it be, say, 3/4 multi-chrome. So I think they're kind of leaning into their strengths there. What I will say is I feel like this is just too much. For an indie brand, they release a huge amount, and to me it's just a little bit too much. Like, people generally love indie brands and they really want to support them, but it becomes very, very difficult and like unviable to do so when the brand themselves are coming out with like a launch per month. And even though $69 isn't like a massive, massive amount of money for what the product is, if that's happening every single month, that becomes like absolutely unwieldy financially. Like, if they're doing a $69 release every single month, that's $800 plus, about $828 per year for a consumer to pay if you happen to be one of those like people who collects things. And I have done that in the past. I will collect from brands. But for me, if you're doing it so that you're having a launch per month, it's just, in my opinion, a little bit too much, and it becomes very, very hard to keep up with. And we've seen before that brands, they really do shoot themselves in the foot when they come out with too many launches in quick succession. Like, people do want to support a brand, but only up to a point. Where you're doing too much, people just kind of check out. Right, we do get things like palette fatigue. It's such a common phrase in the makeup community. So it kind of seems a bit strange to me that a brand will go to that extent. It seems a bit much to me. Now, I do like anything I have from Bella Beautê bar, but by the time they come over here, it's so expensive. I have to pay taxes, duties, etc. So I don't tend to purchase from them that often as a result. Yeah, for me, I'm reserving judgment. I'm not going to get it, but I'm reserving judgment as to what it actually looks like, because I've seen no swatches. There's no information on that. I like their quality in general, but I'm just not a fan of so many releases. And a lot of you felt exactly the same. 20% of you said that you loved it, while 38% need to see swatches, which I totally agree with. And then, oh my goodness, we have Too Faced, and this is their Kissing Jelly Lip Oil Gloss. Lads, I'm sorry to tell you, but lip oil is basically a gloss. Like, if you look at the formula, it's basically exactly the same thing. I'm sorry, like that's it. And I'm so sick of this and them saying it's a hybrid. It's not. It's not. I went on a rant on this in like a YouTube video earlier, but I'm gonna do it again. You cannot say that this is a hybrid. It's like saying that this can of Diet Coke and this other can of Diet Coke, we're gonna mesh them together as a hybrid. No, it's not a hybrid. It's just more of the thing. Like, you haven't made a hybrid. It's exactly the same thing. I'm sorry. It's driving me nuts. And they're selling this for $22 and you're getting 4.5 mils. And initially in my first video, I was saying, well, at least they're not scented. No, I was wrong. They're all scented and I emotionally cannot cope, right? They come in 6 different shades. They don't look that different when you actually see them swatched and when you see them on the lip. I don't know about you guys, but I genuinely cannot tell much of a difference. Like, if you put a gun to my head and said, identify which one is grape soda, I wouldn't be able to. Would not be able to. And it's really interesting when they put down their shades and descriptions. Here's what they say. Sour watermelon is an electric pink. Yeah, in the tube it looks relatively electric pink, but on the lip, absolutely not. Indecipherable. Raspberry is an electric fuchsia. Bubblegum is pink with pearl. Grape soda is purple with pearl. Sweet cotton candy is a cool mint blue, and pina colada is clear with pearl. I'm so done with lip oils. All of them look exactly the same to me. I'm sorry, I cannot tell the difference at all. The audacity to come out with 6 different shades and be like, oh yeah, $22 for these. Let me show you how they're not different from each other at all. Like, I'm sorry, they're not. It's absolutely nuts to me. They say one swipe sheer candy color, emphasis on sheer. I just can't. There's apparently a blend of sunflower and jojoba seed oil. They say that it softens the lips. Yeah, okay, whatever. So will like a €3 lip balm. They say universal shades look good on everyone. That's because it's not really a shade, my love. It's a tint, if even. And I cannot fucking deal with this whole notion of universal. There's never anything that's universal. I'm sorry, like, it's not. And yeah, they look okay on everyone. It's because there's like no colour in them at all. They all look exactly the same. And am I being gaslit into thinking that each of these are like different? Because they're not. They literally aren't. They've also said an extra large applicator for smooth, luxurious application. When did a doe foot become luxurious? I'm sorry, but when did it become luxurious? You can't tell me it's luxurious. It's just an applicator. Like, how? I can't. It's vegan, it's cruelty free. If those things are important to you, I'll just tell you right now, don't get it. Don't get it. Just get yourself like a normal everyday lip gloss. It's probably going to be better. It's going to give you more pigment and it'll be more interesting. I do not get this. I am sick to my back teeth of these. I can't. If I see one more lip oil, I think I might actually cry. And I'm not a very emotional person, but this is kind of doing this to me. I don't get it. Who started the trend of the lip oils and essentially rebranding lip gloss? Because it's the exact same thing. I can't. I don't care anymore. I'm sick of it. I really hope that 2024 brings us something new and different and gets rid of lip oils. Can we please? I swear to God though, if I see fucking lip oil jelly gloss hybrids, I will lose my mind, because it's not a hybrid. It's the same thing. I can't. My mind hurts. And it seems a lot of you felt exactly the same way, because 2% of you loved it and 43% said that it's kind of boring. I mean, I feel like saying that it's kind of boring is being kind, because it's absolutely dreadful. Then we have Linda Hallberg, and this is part of essentially her Christmas collection, which I feel came out very late. However, it's quite pretty. The new palette is called Siren Song, and she's come out with an eyeliner, also known as an eye crayon, in the shade Nashira. Now, you can get the Siren Song palette itself for €46, or you can get the eye crayon for €18. But the smartest thing to do if you like the two of them is to bundle them for €52 because you make a 19% of a saving. So I think it's quite pretty. Could I dupe this out of my current collection? I absolutely could, but I think it's very, very nice. Now, the thing about the crayon is, yes, it's an eyeliner, but you could also use it on the lip. So keep that in mind. I love the versatility of that. I think it's super, super smart. And I just like the shade of it. I think it's very, very pretty. Let's talk about maybe the palette first. I mean, this is so editorial. I love the way they've shot this on the eye. It's so simple, but absolutely gorgeous. You can tell they've also used like the liner on the eyelid as well, just to kind of smoke it out ever so slightly. This is where you can tell that Linda Hallberg is an MUA, because this is very editorial. This is just very chic, very effortless. I love this. I love how sheer a lot of these shades look. I would probably use that shade Pearl at the top left hand corner as a sort of a highlight, because it does look like you could sheer it out to give you quite a glittery highlight, to be fair. This is kind of perfectly called Siren song because this is very ethereal, very mermaidy. This is way more mermaidy than a lot of the mermaid stuff that we've seen over the last couple of months. And yes, I have been saying that I'm sick of mermaid themed stuff, but I feel like this is done quite well. It is super expensive, but I will say anything that I have from Linda Hallberg, I enjoy the quality. I think she knows what she's doing. And this looks beautiful. It absolutely is. All that being said, I have these sort of shades already, so I would just be duping myself, and on that basis alone, I won't be getting it. But I think this is very, very beautiful. I'm frustrated for her that she didn't come out with it sooner, because I feel like a lot of people are tapped out after Black Friday and they did a lot of their like Christmas shopping, makeup gift shopping, etc. And this isn't the best time for that, in my opinion, you know. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. I love, as I said, the crayon. I love the versatility of that, the fact that you can use it on the eyelid, you can use it on the lip. I am all for multifunctional sort of products. And again, like I said, I feel like MUAs really understand that, which is why I get so excited about MUA owned brands. There's something about this that is kind of giving me slightly like naughty's Millennium vibe of like that purple lip. I'm here for it. I love that. I think it's absolutely fabulous. It's obviously sharpenable, which again makes sense. If it's an MUA brand, it's going to be that way. You can see the pigment is very, very good on that. Yeah, I like it. I don't feel like €18 is wildly expensive for like a good multi-use liner. I think it's definitely, like, it is expensive, like, let's be real, but let's be real, like, you're getting what you pay for there. Linda Hallberg is a very, very good brand, and I actually feel like €18, she could have probably charged a bit more. Thank goodness she hasn't, but it's not bad at all. I think it's quite nice. When I showed it to you guys, 20% of you loved the palette, 38% said that it was too expensive. When I showed you the eye crayon, then 18% of you loved it and 32% said that it was too expensive, which I totally get. The very last thing we're talking about is a sneak peek, and sweet Jesus, I know I started talking about Glamlite in this episode, but I'm going to finish talking about Glamlite in this episode, and I think I may actually have to go on a Glamlite hiatus and just stop talking about them, because I do this sometimes. If there's a brand that is giving me the ick, or I just, whatever, it doesn't matter how many times you tag me in it, I just don't want to talk about it. But this is Glamlite and Kiss. Look, I get why they're doing it. Kiss are going on their farewell tour, whatever, and yeah, I suppose they're doing this. I think this is a terrible idea from a PR point of view, because the band is problematic. The members themselves, I mean, Gene Simmons alone, he's sexist, he's misogynistic, he's anti-trans, he's come out with several racist comments, and then even, what's his name, Buckley actually came out with like an anti-trans statement back in May, around about the same time that Alice Cooper came out with his terrible statement, which is what I was getting mixed up on in my earlier video, because it was actually Vampire Cosmetics were doing like a collaboration with Alice Cooper and they nixed it because of what he said, which, by the way, can we all just give a little bit of love to Vampire Cosmetics for standing behind their ethos? I got to love that. This is apparently, by the way, coming in winter 2024, so I would imagine it's coming in January, which in my mind is too soon, it's too much. I just can't. I think it's a big risk for her to align herself with a band that has had these sort of issues. It's almost easier to keep a collab when it's IP with ideas, you know, or cartoon characters, because when you're looking at bands, it's very difficult to disentangle the individuals in the band from the band itself. I will also say that some of the songs from Kiss are weird. They're very... yeah, I mean, I'm just going to insert that blank space and you can put whatever it is that you think in there, but I don't love it. I don't know what it is they could possibly do. Like, if the brands themselves or the products themselves don't have black and white in them, that would be very, very strange. I'm going to suspect that they're going to do the same thing as they did with the Garfield and have it be very accessories laden. That's all I can think of there. Yeah, I don't really get it. Kiss aren't my thing. I know there'll be a lot of people that absolutely love Kiss, and I'm delighted for you. I hope that, you know, the collection speaks to you and that you enjoy it. It isn't for me. I'm not going to get on a pedestal and be like, ah, you shouldn't buy this brand because XYZ. Look, you're all adults. You have your own money. You can do whatever you want. I am not conceited enough to think that I know everything about these things. I make my decisions based upon myself, and I'm personally not going to buy it because I don't support the people in Kiss. But if you love Kiss, I hope that this brings you an immense amount of joy, that the stuff that kind of comes out is in line with the brand and with the band. I will say Glamlite are great quality, so I think if they come out with a makeup product, you will enjoy it. But for me, it just ain't it. I don't get it. It's too much. There's too many collabs. I just can't. It's too much for me. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of this particular releases and rants. As I said, next week we're having a live. It's on at 12 for my YouTube members. We're going to have like a get ready with me where I'm going to frantically try to make myself look like a human being at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I like to sleep in on a Saturday morning, so bear with me. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of the video. I do have my favourite comment, and it's from the fabulous Janet, and she said, I am buying nothing. Same, Janet. There's a lot of stuff that just isn't interesting me. And she said, it's an interesting thing to ponder that some brands are now releasing too often, and what will become of them in just 2 years. I totally agree. Completely agree. We're singing from the same hymn sheet. I think there's a lot of brands here that just won't exist or won't be in the same like stratosphere that they once were at this current point in time. Have a guess as to who I'm talking about. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Your support is super appreciated. Do please join me in the live. It's going to be weird. I got it to function last time. Let's see if I can get it to work next time. But that is it. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. And do please share. Because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs. In which case, just wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.